A beautiful Saturday morning, and much obliged to have you join us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Well, a million apologies we couldn't bring you the program last week due to some unforeseen circumstances. We apologize and we thank you for your understanding, usual understanding as it were. Okay, my name is Sonny Duke Okosi, your regular host on the program. We'll get the show started today by looking at governance impact and the year 2021. I'm sure in the later part of the conversations today, we'll be making projections into the year 2022. Just a few days ago, a few days away, the year 2021 will come to a close. But one thing is clear is that the year 2021 has been a very tempestuous year, particularly with the interesting narratives with COVID-19. It broke out, and then before you knew it, several variants started manifesting: Gamma, Alpha, Beta, and all of a sudden we heard of the Delta variant, all right? And people are looking for the Delta variant now. They can't find it, except that we have a new one that came from South Africa called the Omicron variant, and that seems to be trending at the moment. But that's just on the lighter side. But let's quickly meet our panelists here in the studio. I'd like to thank very especially our veteran politician, public affairs commentator, Barrister Gentleman Amego. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Duke, for having me.
I also want to thank very especially Comrade Christian Osegali, is a sociologist, social worker, public affairs commentator. Many thanks for joining us on the program. The programs officer, Foundation for Good Governance and Social Change, Comrade Christopher Ojekere, is also here with us. Chris, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you, Sonny. Good morning, viewers.
Okay, let me start with Barrister Mego. The major talking point at the beginning of the year was COVID-19. Shut down the economies of the world. As a matter of fact, there are several families, several countries, several businesses that are yet to recover from the impact of COVID-19. What's your take?
Well, thank you, Duke. When you want to start with COVID, I think we will not be sufficiently at home to discuss COVID in Nigeria, indeed Africa. COVID is more in America, in Europe, and all the developed countries. God has delivered us, as it were, on COVID matters. But back home here, it's been a very tempestuous year, like you said. We are praying that this year should come and go. Beginning from Benin City, we have had terrible things in Benin. We have had so much pains, so much difficulties in terms of human beings. Many painful things have happened in Benin for this year. And we are praying that this year should come and go. Going nationally, we have so much pains too in Nigeria in terms of security. It's been so painful in this country. We have really done nothing to bring security to bay. Look at what is happening now in Zamfara, where bandits now demand taxes from farmers. You pay tax, you can go to your farm and harvest. If you don't, then you won't harvest. That is very sad indeed. That's where we are. Well, economically, we have not moved forward either. The only people moving forward in this country now are the tailors, if you like, because they are doing very well. Many of our youths are now tailors, and they get textile materials from abroad. But how I wish that we behave like the father of India, what do you call him now?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi. At the point they said, we are not going to have textile material in India. And he said, let India go naked. That's how India was able to develop their textile materials. Our tailors are doing very well, yes, but we still import materials. We want a situation where we can produce the textile materials here in Nigeria, so that in that aspect of life, our economy can grow. But the security, sir, Passenger was talking this morning. We don't know what the head of state has done, because right after Jonathan left, nothing has happened. In fact, it's growing from bad to worse. People come to your house and say, come follow us. You'll be there 2 months, 3 months. So we don't know how we have gotten here, but we are here. So how are we going to solve this problem? Well, Passenger was providing solution this morning. He said they went to Rwanda, they went to Gambia, youths are taking over. But the same youth are taking over in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is in trouble right now. So where are the youths? When are they going to take over so that we shall have security in this country? I think the only way out is prayers. Although it might be consolatory, but that's the only way I think we can deliver this country. Because soldiers have not been able to do anything. The DSS, it's only our boys who are doing well now, the vigilante boys who can get into the forest and bring out these people. Apart from vigilante, we are in trouble. So if you are not secured and the economy is not moving forward, Nigeria is an emerging country where the president can say the sliding of the dollar must stop. If you are ready to do business with us, we'll take it at 300 naira to 1. If you are not ready, you go. You will find that they will go and come back. In 2-3 weeks, they will come back because we are an emerging economy. People must want to do business all over the country. We are not to push over.
Let me pause you there. I'll come back to you in a moment. Christina Sagari. Do you think that all of the governance impact that I probably want to talk about, in a sense, they were, veiled by the impact of COVID-19 pandemic?
Not necessarily. The impact of governance is neither here nor there. It depends on the variables you want to use to measure impact of governance. But over time and then, you describe that we have always talked about governance, thereby relegating to the background the responsibility of citizenship. And now that is where problem lies with us. But in the face of COVID, you describe that if you look at the prediction of the global community, that what will happen to Africa, Nigeria specifically, that they are going to be picking dead body in the streets. And God reversed the pronouncement or the prophecy, and they were the one now, we're not picking dead body in the streets. And there is on record that Nigeria has one of the lowest death rates in the world. Whether it was because of God's divine intervention or whatever has happened, but the reality is showing that we were able to manage our COVID to some extent. Now, what I have bearing in governance, well, to some extent, we were told that some workers operate from home. Government or governance, to some extent, were functioning to to some certain level. So there were certain deliverables that were obvious in the feed, but over all this, Nigeria has not really benefited from governance as it were, either because it's what we want or because of the fact that leadership is comprehensively disconnected from followership.
Okay.
So when we have a scenario whereby the leadership is comprehensively disconnected from followership and the center will refuse to hold, things will certainly fall apart. That is where we find ourselves. That we now have in Nigeria where you stand to yourself, oh, Israel. Citizens have gradually turned themselves into an onslaught against institution. And that is have been practically demonstrated by the kind of mass mobilization of unionism in Nigeria. I was in a place in this country not too long ago where some young boys who society could tag as deviants, they were now discussing how they come together, raise money, and settle the security outfit in that community. So they will tell you they know the commissioner of police. With text message, commissioner of police will come here because they have the money. Now, a society like that, it simply means that the citizens have practically become a problem to institution. And it's difficult, as a conflict expert, it's difficult to have a reduction in conflict in such society. Okay. So, and that is where we are navigating to. It's a very dangerous trend. Yeah. And may God help us to begin to navigate out of that direction that we are going.
All right, Chris, let me come to you now. I just want to feel your pulse as it relates to where we are in terms of governance impacts and why we are where we are. Is this unique to the present administration, or this is a bit of previous administration over the years to where we are today? And where does this lead us after all?
That's a very difficult question to answer. There have been much impact. There have been much impact from the government in power. It has impacted Nigeria so much that we have the most polarized country in the entire world right now. Government's indifference and callous attitude towards its citizenry, to put it mildly, if not an outright encouragement of all the forces of retrogression against the Nigerian population, government seem to be encouraging it, has or have both impacted so much.
How do you justify that statement that government is encouraging some of the things that you highlight? How do you justify that?
Now, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is an executive president. He controls the Nigerian military forces, the Nigerian police, all the paramilitary, and all the institutions of state. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria spells out very clearly the responsibilities of the president. In a situation where you have a Sheikh Gumi running around the country, visibly making himself an ambassador of terrorists who are enemies of the Nigerian state, who are attacking and assaulting the Nigerian state, and you have an individual who goes in and out among them and comes to make statements for them, and is running around in the country, and everybody in Nigeria is saying to the president, rein in this man, let him tell us what he knows. And that man is going freely and even threatening state governments, visiting states without permission and creating problems there, taking medical supplies to terrorists in the bush, setting up an educational institution in the forest for terrorists, and making pronouncements to say if you name them terrorists, Nigeria will be in trouble. And the man is running around, and you have a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with all his powers constitutionally guaranteed sitting there. Now, as I speak to you now, if you watch your television, your social media, you will find Kadira Ahmed, one of the best, finest journalists we have ever produced in this country. She was on television. She told us she had just lost a very close person, raped by 8 bandits, and then killed. And she asked in English before she went into Hausa, Baba Buhari, what have we done? What has Nigeria done to you to deserve this? And then she went into Hausa language. Now, this president came into position in the profile of a retired military general who seemingly during election had given us the impression that security was one of his cardinal objectives of coming to power, and that he was going to restore Nigeria back. He was going to recover all the lost territory to bandits. As I speak to you now, Baba made reference to it. It's a reality that bandits are mounting roadblocks. They're collecting taxes from farmers in Zamfara, in Niger State, in Borno State. They're mounting roadblocks in the Nigerian state.
There are also reports, yes, of instances where the combined armed forces, they've been able to dislodge these guys every now and then, whether it's Zamfara State, in Niger State, in Kaduna State, in Sokoto State, you just name it. I mean, it's important that we state what is happening. We also give the flip side of what is being done to checkmate this, so that there seems to be a balance.
We don't have a record of the president's policy statements on terrorism in Nigeria. The only record we have is his anger against Nnamdi Kanu and ESN, his anger against Igboho. The president we have no record of a white paper of the president mobilizing the country, pronouncing these terrorists as terrorists, and then mobilizing the country against them.
So you're not aware of instances where Mr. President has instructed the IG of police, the Director General of DSS, or whatever designation is given, the NCDC, and the likes to go to a particular state and take charge. I mean, that's happened recently. I think it was in Sokoto State. You didn't hear anything about that.
If I tell you, Sonny, go to the studio and cover this morning's program for Politics Today, I'm only asking you to do your job. That's a main pronouncement. I'm talking of a Marshall Plan because we are under an existential threat from external aggression. That's a very different ball game from regular police work or regular military work. This is an invasion. The president himself has said this severally, that these people are not Nigerians. It is an invasion against the territorial integrity and the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so, me asking you, Sonny, go and do your job at the studio, is not a Marshall Plan of any serious-minded person. Perhaps you need the statistics of the number of people that are being killed. The Coalition for Northern Groups NGO, Young Boys, have given the president an ultimatum. They are the one that wear the shoe, the theater where it is happening. The president is from their own extraction. They've given the president an ultimatum that if the president does not do anything about banditry and terrorism within the next 3 months, they are going to shut down the 6 northern states in the northwest of Nigeria. And you think that is something you just make a pronouncement and say, IG, go to the state and get all the terrorists. The president said, if you see anybody with AK-47, arrest them. Do we have a record of the Nigerian military forces and the Nigerian police, of the people we ourselves and our vigilantes have arrested in the forest with AK-47? Do you have a record of their prosecution? We are talking reality here. We are not talking about, niceties. We are not talking about diplomatic talks. We are talking reality that Nigerians are suffering on a daily basis. I just told you what Kadira Ahmed said. Her weeping on TV is enough to break the heart of any human being who has conscience. 43 people that were slaughtered in Sokoto the other day. 300 students are taken here. 20-something are killed here. This one is killed here in a territory where you have the best army that fought in Ekomog and had fought in every peacekeeping mission in Africa and distinguished themselves. Now, what is happening is that the body language of the president has not shown that he's against. In fact, the fact that you have terrorists being named,
disagree with you.
Yes, you are disagreeing
with you on that to say the body language of Mr. President encourages what is going on.
It is my opinion that the president has not done what he should do as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the powers that he has to fight against terrorism. It's my opinion that he has not shown enough sentiments against terrorism.
Okay, let me pursue this. Chris, let me pursue. Pastor Mego, every time you have a conversation of this magnitude, the issue of insecurity takes of the conversation. What's your take on this? Yeah.
Well, I tend to cave into many of what my friend said. You know, the problem is that you cannot fight a war when you have no frontier. That is the problem with the soldiers, with the DSS, with the police. These are faceless people. In the afternoon, they are living with you. In the night, they come out and start to rob, and start to kill, and start to attack people. You don't know them. You see, but what is and what I agree with that.
So if you say we don't know them, sorry to interject, if you say we don't know them, and then you have the likes of Sheikh Gumi, for example, having interface with them, and then making pronouncement, which, I mean, some have described as on behalf of this group. Yes. Does that really portend the fact that we don't know them?
That's Gumi is one of them.
But you can't even substantiate that Gumi is one of them.
Gumi is the mystery between the government and the bandits. Then we're in trouble. He comes to dine with us, and we send him messages to go back. They kidnap people in Sokoto, they kidnap people in Adamawa, and say, Gumi, go and release them. That is unfortunate. But what I'm saying is that you don't have these bandits settled in a place. We went to Sabisa, but we called everywhere. We did not find them. There's no soldiers are no magicians. You can't find them. Only these vigilante people can find them. But why is saying that Mr. President has to give us a statement that will make us feel that, oh, you are in sympathy with this country. It's not by telling Aji. Aji is just one man. What's Aji going to do there? What's the commissioner going to do? The commissioner going to leave his house and go to the forest in the night? Of course no. But we want a statement, definitive statement, that this is what we will do with the. In fact, he has not been able to say that they are bandits. He has not been able to say that they are
terrorists.
All these years, with all that they are doing, there's only one high court or one appeal court that pronounced them as terrorists. He couldn't confirm me to say that they are terrorists because different rules for different folks. If they are terrorists, we know how to handle them. It's not by looking for AK-47. We look for the human being, give them instant justice. And then people will know, well, oh, this man is ready to deal with his bandits. Okay, like I said, a lot of them have been arrested, even at those state here. Do you have evidence of prosecution? Where are they? 2-3 days later, they're out.
Okay. All right, Christian, you've been smiling and at some point not nodding your head, which suggests that you're not in tandem with some of the things, particularly thoughts shared by Christopher Ojekere. What's your take? I mean, Mr. President is the chief executive officer, let's put it that way. He should be held responsible and accountable for all of these things that are happening under his watch. Are you saying you're satisfied with the handling of this thing so far?
Comprehensively, no. I cannot be satisfied with anything I see now in Nigeria. Because, you know, when we begin to lose focus, solution to problem becomes scarce. You know, I sympathize with my brother here because when you reduce the office of the president to individual, that is where we have problem. It's an institution. The president don't need to make a statement that this is terrorist. It is not his responsibility. We have laws in Nigeria, and we have who are constitutionally empowered to enforce these laws. And I'm not aware that the president will, after retirement, will put uniform again and become the GOC or defense minister. You know, he has people who are, you know, empowered to do so. Like he said, it will be very unfortunate if you have been told, Sonny Duke, go and man this studio. What do you need again? It's your duty. Your own responsibility is to make sure that the studio functions.
And when it doesn't function, what happens to me?
When it doesn't function,
yeah, like it's happening now.
No, you see, that is the studio is functioning.
No, I'm talking about the studio. I'm talking about the larger studio, which is Nigeria.
You see, that is the point.
Yes.
Nigeria, if it's not functioning, none of us will be in the studio today. Let us. No,
let's look at this sectorial. We're talking about insecurity. People were given responsibility to deal with the issue of insecurity by way of providing leadership. From the indices on the ground, those people are they delivering on those?
Like the question you asked me, I watched some time ago Araz TV.
Yes.
When the president was being interviewed, and he told us that some governors from the east came and asked about this issue of insecurity. Yes, man. And then look, when you were campaigning as a governor, you promised your people that you are going to protect them, defend them. Go and do that. I am not aware, sir. That's why I hardly blame the president. The constitution actually gives the commander-in-chief power over security. Each state governors preside over security meeting almost on a weekly basis. Each state governor have huge, gargantuan amount of security votes. Each leadership of traditional rulers at each constituency have some percentage for security purpose. We have 174 local governments with local government chairmen, countless number of council areas with supposed leaders called councillors. All these segments of governance have vote.
So exactly what point are you driving at?
My point I'm driving at is this. When you blame...
The conflict expert.
Go ahead.
When you blame one man in Abuja, then the problem becomes bigger.
After the man promised during his campaigns that he was going to fix that problem, because I heard you just now say when they had a conversation with Mr. President, he reminded them that when they were campaigning, they did promise to tackle insecurity. Isn't that tantamount to kettle calling pot black?
No,
as they say
it is
in our
not.
local parlance?
You know why I say so?
Yes.
Every state government, governors, ought to protect their states. The point is this: I'm not aware that the president have countered the directive of a governor concerning security of any state. And I'm not aware that any governor have been kidnapped because the police protected them at the same federal police. I'm not aware that their wife have been kidnapped. Why is the common man at the receiving end in this country? And this is what I call conspiracy of the elites against the common man. It's just a theory. They know what they are doing to deceive us. If we are talking of north, from here to my village, it's difficult to go. When you say I'm going home, they will tell you kidnappers operate this time. The last time I went up, they would give me analysis of where hours kidnappers operate here. Now, like he said, vigilantes have come to the rescue. Why are they succeeding? Because they are members of the community. In those days, I was growing up. In my village, you dare not be a stranger and inhabit and function, carry out crime and criminality. It's not possible. Where are you going to stay? Now, when everybody takes security as his own responsibility, things become easier.
Okay.
I'm not saying I am exonerating the president.
Okay, let me push
I'm
you.
not saying that the president is doing the right thing.
Okay.
But I'm saying that, like I was watching the governor of Kogi State the other day. Kogi State was a terrible state in those days. They were just asking him, how were you able to do this? He said he called a meeting of all the traditional rulers in the state. He called in secret and told, look, this community is serious. If anything happens in this community, I hold you responsible. And they begin to own. He has never, according to that interview, that he has never gone to Abuja because of security. And I'm not aware that he gave order to the commissioner of police in that state, and the commission and President Ubare said, "Don't obey."
Okay,
that is the challenge we have.
Chris, let me pause you there. How do we deal with this issue if someone like Christian Segali is saying that Mr. President should not be blamed, that the state governors should take responsibilities in taking care of insecurity in the state? After all, just like he said, state governors collect security votes running into millions. In some states, is in the billions on a monthly basis. What have you got to say about this?
Well, I think the way Christian approached it was what almost confused us. I think, if I understand, what he's trying to talk about is shared responsibilities. Now, the president derives his powers from the Constitution. The governors derive their powers from the Constitution. Security is in the exclusive lists. The governors of the state do not have executive powers over the Nigerian police. They only have cooperative powers and they have influence. The governors in the various states have tried to certain points. I'm not exonerating them. But it is going to be very illogical to exonerate the president and blame the governors. The domain of security is resided in the office of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is the one that is in charge of defense and security. Now, to let him see the inherent contradiction in the argument, it was not the state that dealt with Igboho in the Southwest. When the president thought that Igboho was a threat to his government, his 10 state security forces, they went to Igboho's house, and then Igboho became history as far as that movement is concerned till now.
Do you know how many arms were discovered in Igboho's house?
Well, that's a matter of speculation.
Let's take it one at a time.
When the president thought that Nnamdi Kanu was a threat to his government in the southeast, he did the same thing. People are saying, why are you not doing the same thing in the north? If you have so much power, he didn't wait for the state governments. He didn't tell the Oyo state government, or the Lagos state government, deal with Igboho. He didn't tell the southeast governors, deal with Nnamdi Kanu. He sent the federal forces because it's in his domain. It's in his list. Look at your constitution. He derives the power. He controls the budget of internal and external security. So the president is the one that gives the direct order to he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. They take direct order from him through the Chief of Defense Staff and the General Commanders of the various GOCs. So I am saying that the president hasn't shown, he has not taken on his responsibility. And let me tell you, these matters of technicalities of going to the books, in civilized countries, the president uses both what is in the book, which is the technicalities, and the influence of his office. You cannot imagine the United States president here now playing the ostrich and telling state governors in the United States to take charge of security if America is under threat. I am saying the territorial integrity of Nigeria is under threat. It's not a state government affair. It's the Federal Republic of Nigeria is under threat. And that's what the president swore to defend. So the president should put in look, we have Toscano jets that were just imported from the US. I don't know whether they are in use. The point is that it has become a big problem because reports have come out severally to us as members of the civil society of the internal wranglings and treachery. We had the Major General, the Naval Commander, retired, talking about what happened in the NDA when the NDA was attacked. And he came out to the general public and told us that the president is aware of all the people that are sponsoring this. The DSS is aware, the police is aware that there is no intention. And the reality is showing it, that there is no intention. That they are aware, that they know the names, they know the sponsor. Dubai submitted the names of sponsors of terrorism. Malami said it a few months ago in 2021 here that they have already now discovered those who are sponsoring terrorism. Nobody has been arrested. It's in the purview of the president to do so. So the state governments are just minions in this game of fighting security. And to the extent that you can point to vigilante even working in the state, and just as you alluded to, it means the state governments are trying within the powers that they have. Okay. If the president wants the state government to deal with security, should divest that power to the state government. So let's restructure the country in such a way that the governors can control the police and the security apparatus within its territory.
As any governors that have come
moving well with the police.
Okay. Huh? Yes.
Some states, they are not moving well with the police.
Yes.
We are aware.
No, I just watched the governor of Edo State.
I don't say
but
so,
vehicles. It's a joint military and police combined.
Yeah.
He gave them that. He set up a kind of central port where the state will be monitored. What is he doing? He is carrying out his constitutional responsibility of providing security for the people. Yes. And now, immediately he announced that. I saw the police, these soldiers, and the federal security outfit there, and I didn't hear counter pronouncement from Abuja that I don't use my people to do this work. You know what I'm trying to say is this, sir. This federal police or security outfit is paid by federal money. They are all in the state. The state government need to use all these people to work. If those state governors have now summoned the courage to do what he's doing now, I say we're talking about city cameras where you sit down and begin to. Now, let me believe that it's starting with one local government. From there, you move to 2 local governments. Before you know it, you cover the 18 local government will now have a lesser problem. Because this Iguosa village, the indigenes here know who is a stranger here. So when a stranger comes here to misbehave, they know. They know how to deal with such people. I went to a community in Igbobi. I was trying to do a kind of investigation between this how herdsmen destroy farm of people. When I got to a particular place, they told me when you pass this line from here to miles into the forest, you can never see cow. I said, how manage? How is it possible? He said the community decided that when the herdsmen come with their cow, they should not pass this boundary. And I said, why? He said, because from here is farming community. Till today, sir, I decided to go and farm in that community. No cow has visited there. What I'm trying to say is what the people want that most often will prevail. Okay. Like, if as a cow rearer and I was a herdsman, I cannot enter Iguosa without going to see the leadership of Iguosa. I must pay my homage. So the point is this.
Don't know that.
No, you know why I said so, sir? We did a research. We went to we were just analyzing the issue of security. I said there is no land in this Nigeria
that does not belong to either somebody or community. Some people say, no, that is why this criminal used to hijack some area and sell. I said, okay, let's do some experiment. We went into a bush. Far, no human being traces. I said, let's clear just 10 by 10. After 3 days, we came back, we now put fire. As that fire was burning, people came. What are people doing here? And, who sold this land? They begin to tell us, the owner. So okay. No, we are not doing experiments. That is, you see, the land is not big. There's nothing you can do with 10 by 10. Yeah. Then that was when they relax. So there is no community in Nigeria that does not belong to certain people. So if I now, me from Esa land, come to Benin somewhere, it goes at the red criminal gang group, and the Gosa is condoling me, you don't need to blame the governor. So the community should first of all fight me. It is when they now fight me, ask me to go, that the governor said, no, I must stay. That is where problem now become. That's why it now become issue with the government.
Christians advocating anarchy. Because if what you say now is to happen, every community in the south will have a Fulani enclave engaged right now in battle. And the only people that have the liberty in this country to move around with AK-47 is the Fulanis. Yeah, the Fulanis. So you are asking my community in the village to take their bow?
No, you don't have fast. There is no law that says Fulanis to carry AK-47. There's no law that says so.
Let's not make this place.
No, when it's happening, we should fight it. That is why
it's an aberration. You're on to Politics Today
that is why it should be fought
on independent television and radio. Of course, governor's impact and the year 2021 is a major talking point, as is always the case when you get to this point of conversation. The menace, the challenges as it relates to insecurity takes center stage. I mean, literally takes over the entire program. And that's because, like you know, without adequate security, there won't be peace. And when there is no peace, there can't be meaningful development. And that's the reason why people everywhere are calling out authorities at the state, at the federal, or at the local government to take full responsibilities in terms of ensuring adequate security. Also calling out on those who are at leadership levels, at the community level, at the traditional level, to take responsibilities of their domains to ensure that there is adequate security. But every now and then, one issue that keeps coming out is that there's some level of complacency on the part of the authorities in charge. And that comes from the fact that as effective and efficient as vigilantes are, what is the legal framework for their operation? People are saying, look, why don't we allow this to metamorphose into state police, as it were, so we know that this is the new sub-layer of checkmating insecurity. Let me begin with you, Chris, on that.
Amotekun was an initiative well thought out. Governors and some elite from the southwest, because they didn't want a situation where thugs and bandits and those people he's referring to just now, who got themselves together to say they can pay the commissioner and so on, would form this kind of, fiefdom of gangs to begin to take up arms. So the elite of the southwest got together and said, look, let's put an elite and sophisticated, state sponsor, that is a regional sponsored, security outfit in place. Who was to go to town taking it personal as if it was formed against them? Was the Meiti Allah. So much so that Meiti Allah had the audacity to go to the Federal House of Assembly to say that the statement, the agreement reached by southern governors in Asaba and later in Lagos, that they are going to pass anti-open grazing, that the federal legislature should not approve it. So that is, the Meiti Allah is the socio-cultural organization of the Fulanis. They have no territory in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is just a socio-cultural organization. What is their business to take up a region, a constituent region of 5-6 states, and begin to say that they have no right to set up such security outfit to protect their people, when everything follows the law? The state assemblies passed it, and the governors of the states met to form it. And they had that impunity to go around to be saying that, and they are protected, and no arrest was made till today. So the point we are making is this: it is the only way to go. Now that we can still talk, now that you can still sit in the studio, and you don't have a bandit vehicle waiting to kidnap you outside when we step out of here, it's when leadership across communities should sit down and set up such, bodies for the protection of their people. And that's my anger with the South, and that's where I partly agree with him. When the Southern governors met in Asaba, I was the happiest man in this country. I say, at last, the South have now come to realize that they are not going to sit down and allow other people legislate their destinies. They have decided that they know what is good for them and what is good for the South, and the leadership of the South are going to sit down and take a decision. And they came up with their Asaba declaration. And that declaration, to anyone who is listening, stands still today. Okay. It may be lulled and put in the shed, but it stands because the people have already bought it. We don't care if the leadership are developing COVID, which the people have made. We are going to make that our 2023 agenda of anybody who says he wants to go for presidency. Yes, we are going to show us. Yes, we are going to show us where you agree with those points. And one of the things suggested there was the state police. Yes, because the country, he just said it. He said the governors of the states are to provide security. That leaves the president with no territory. Because the 36 states and Abuja that owns the land. So it just tells you that the president is usurping all the powers. And that is what they must be restructuring. I agree with him that the governor should take charge, but the president must divest that power. So that the governor will have the constitutional political framework. Yes.
Talking of legal framework for vigilance.
Yes.
That's a distraction. To talk of legal framework
for existential threats.
For what's important for one security. If we are getting deliveries of security, then we don't need the fucking legal framework.
Okay, now we don't use such words on the program like this. So just withdraw. Fucking, I mean, you don't use such words on program like this.
I'm not directing at anybody.
Okay, yeah.
I know what I just said.
Okay.
When you talk of legal framework, we are not in tune with the legal framework. What we want is security. Please, let's have our security. You are one of those who will say, oh, we have not passed X, have not passed Y, therefore vigilante cannot stay. It has come to stay. It will follow up with the Asaba declaration, and then we'll ask.
Okay.
The governor is coming, he's doing well in terms of security. He should do more.
Yes. Okay. Christian, I like to look at it from this perspective, because I've heard people say state governors that are passed the anti-open grazing law, who is going to enforce it? Who's going to enforce it? Are they being enforced, Chris? Are these laws being enforced? They've been passed. Are they being enforced now in the respective states where they have been passed?
Wait, they are being enforced. Okay. You remember Governor Otom? About 3 years ago, he passed the law. Yes. He's enforcing it. Have you heard the president go there to tell him, you go, I will deal with you? Okay. He's enforcing it. You see, government derives power from the people on the basis of social contract theory. You understand? And it is responsibility of the government to protect the people, and it is responsibility of the people to insist that they should be protected. You see, the area we want to blame government, the world globally are no longer looking at this traditional conventional war to fight crime or conflict. It's now we are navigating to human security. Human security is the order of the day. Why are we where we are today, sir? When democracy come in 1999. Sorry, 1999. Yes. The leadership led by Obasanjo practically disconnected the local government. You see, when you see that was where educational system at the local level become a problem. Look at the pool of demography of category of community crime now. They are between the age of that bracket, 22 downward, 25. Now, what kind of education do they receive? Look at the kind of education that is being given to us in at the local level today. All this problem started from somewhere and is growing. Population is increasing. We are not making plans for the future. I was watching a documentary in China from 6 lane
expressway, they turn it to 12 lane. They interviewed the contractor and said, what? Even this lane has not been occupied. He said they are preparing for the next 30 years. That is where I blame leadership.
Okay, let's open our studio line and get the calls in. 052-290-573. That's our studio number. Dial it right now, right away, and be part of the discussion. And please remember to turn down your TV set to remove the echo so we can hear you loud and clear. And do not cast aspersion on anyone. Hello, caller. Good morning. You're live on Politics Today as our first caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Good morning.
This is Apostle calling from Benin.
Yes, please go ahead.
I want to commend you people and your panelists.
Thank you.
I most particularly commend Chris Oyebere for his analytical view toward the whole issue.
Okay.
I want to say that the problem we have having, like you said, could be attributed to the body language of our president. If all this war, we have the Miyetti Allah, whose activities threaten the collective togetherness of Nigeria. Yet, our president has not been able to come out with any policy that could lead those people to the border. Could the governor be blamed? Certainly, I don't think so. I feel the president should do the needful, and every other governors and local government service, they will follow suit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First caller on the program. Hello, good morning. Sonny Yadosa, you're live on the program, Politics Today. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor Sonny.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Just like when we talk about the issue of people should be allowed, instead of choosing people who will choose their leader, in the same way, for this blame game to stop, we must ensure, let the Mr. President see the view to avoid this, everybody calling him. I've often said that you cannot accept assets and refuse liability. If our constitution, as it is today, give the president right to be in charge, what the governors are doing is just on paper, or let's just continue to move by providing assistance to the Mr. President. If governors will fully take charge after just collecting the 30 votes, it is time before the president leaves to send a bill to the House of Assembly or National Assembly so that every state takes charge and decide what happened to security. If that one is not done, we will not be able to get it right, because what very respected gentleman Nigo and Chris are talked about, we will continue to talk about it, because until those people that are backed by law, you will notice that the vigilante and the police, even though you say someone like His Excellency Governor is providing leadership, it still needs the help of the police.
Okay.
If the police refuse protection, he can't do anything about it, he will then shout about it.
Yeah.
But to avoid all that, let the Mr. President send a bill to the National Assembly and destabilize and settle the region and the various states, let everybody take charge, so that at the end of the day, we can truly say the governor is fully in charge. Otherwise,
all right, thank you, Sonny Yadosa. Thank you for those beautiful points that you raised. Hello, caller. Good morning. Welcome to Politics Today. You're live on the program now. Go ahead, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
hello, my name is Ben. I'm speaking from Ubawa.
Yes, go ahead, please.
I think the problem we have in this country is first and foremost, we don't have National Assembly. The National Assembly we have, they are just there like no committee approving law for the president. And secondly, I don't expect the president to give us what he does not have. It's already biased. It's not a Democrat. He cannot behave well in a society where he's just giving us and carry it out. Apart from that, I regard the period of Buhari as the darkest period for Nigeria history. He has started to over this country.
Well, these are your personal opinions, and there are others who have contrary views about who Mr. President is, what he represents, and what he's done for this country. One of them apparently is Christian Usegali here in the studio. So those views are entirely yours. Thank you all the same for your views. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Please turn down the audio level on your television.
Hello, good morning, Pastor Duke.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, my name is Julius Ugbebo.
Yes, Julius Ugbebo, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to make my contribution is coming from the aspect of the of purpose on the part of the president. And I want to also puncture what the Mr. Chris or that center has said in terms of governors not be interrogated from the presidency whenever they want to take action. Okay. A clear case is that of Akeredolu. Akeredolu made a pronouncement on bandits that are occupying their forest. The next day or some hours later, the presidency, as it is right now, not president, the presidency, countered me that he has no such power. And secondly, you and I are aware that a court of competent jurisdiction has declared bandits terrorists in this country. And as I speak to you, the president has refused to ally himself the court order by declaring the bandits terrorists. You and I are aware that the speed with which IPOB was declared terrorists in this country. So a court of competent jurisdiction has declared bandits terrorists. What is the president doing about it? So there is no potential of purpose on the part of the president. The president is just playing. He knows what he's doing. So it's already. I have a friend in the military who has confided in me that the military has all it takes to cross the bandits. If they can get a clear and sincere instruction from the authority, like the commander-in-chief, they have what it takes to cross the bandit. But they are somehow, the president says, has given the service chief order to go and do that. But is it from the bottom of the heart of the president? So it's a challenge. The president will wake up.
So the question is, it is from the bottom of the heart of the president. Whether, whichever way you look at it, it must come from pronouncement.
Proceed on the impeachment against the president. They are failed in that responsibility.
All right. Thank you.
No, he said
for your contribution. It's still politics today on independent television and radio. We're taking our last call now because whatever has a beginning must have an end. Good morning, caller. What's your name and where you calling from? Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Yes, go ahead. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from and go ahead with your contribution. Our last caller for today on the program. Your name and where you're calling from, and then we'll call it a wrap on the program. Looks like that's going to take a long while before it comes, and that's just about it on the show. But maybe let's just do 1 second each if it's possible. Call it a wrap. Yeah, Chris, quickly.
Yes, I think it's clear where the problem is. If I were the president, I still have 1 year, to leave office. I should return Nigeria at least back to where I met it.
Okay. Let me pause it there, Chris. Christian, one last word.
Well, I think Nigeria should wake up and be active and
defend itself.
Not really defend itself. Think the kind of leadership they choose and own up the leadership.
All right, Pastor Mego.
Mine is simple: is that when the center cannot hold, things will fall apart. So the center should wake up and collect all the peripheries together. Let us directly face all the insecurity people and let us deal with that.
Okay, now from the perspectives expressed here, you can easily tell that the biggest problem facing Nigeria at the moment is a problem of insecurity. If we deal with that, the political issues will fall into place, the economic issues will fall into place, the development issues will fall into place, and every other, a whole lot of other issues that are ancillary to security issues will fall into place. So we expect that from the federal, through the state to the local government, even to the world level, leadership needs to take responsibility. Look at what is happening with the vigilantes. All we need to do is to strengthen them, equip them, train them, empower them, pay them well, and then they will deliver. In fact, I've heard people say, look, bandits are more afraid of vigilantes compared to other security structures. I don't know how true that is, but maybe that's unconnected with the fact that because the vigilantes understand the communities,
Community,
the rules,
that's just-
the
that's
villages
just the difference.
better, and so they know exactly where to go to nip these things in the bud. But again, responsible. I mean, insecurity is our collective responsibility.
Yes,
We need to support security agents
Yes,
for us to
that's
do
the truth.
the needful. That's our package for today on the program. We hope you had a great time and we're able to add some spice and colors to your day. Christopher Ojekere, thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Christopher
sir.
Sega, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And our father here, Pastor Mego, thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Have a beautiful weekend. On the 22nd of this month is the ITV Radio Festival of Nine Lessons on Carols 2021 edition, being hosted by Christ Chosen Church of God International, led by our very own daddy there, Monsignor Apostle Ikwiwu GP. Thank you very much for the privilege and the honor. Have a beautiful weekend and bye for now.